Hi, hello, good evening everyone. Welcome back to this series called as Fundamentals of Economy in Just 30 Minutes. This is Nisha Najumuddin, your educated an academy, an expert in Indian economy, current affairs and MCQs. So today in this particular quick concept bite and proper interlinking of current affairs, we have an interesting topic from economics, which is none other than minimum support price. So this is a very important exam-oriented hitless topic. Many a times the newspaper also, from the agriculture perspective, we can keep on hearing this term called as MSP. MSP for that crop, this crop, the government is doing that to help the farmers, etc., right? So this is a kind of price called as MSP, which is literally to support the primary or the agriculture sector of the economy, which is indeed the farmers. So now MSP is nothing but a remunerative price which has been given by the government to the farmers to ensure that whatever produce they have been putting out, okay, that is getting a kind of realization. Let's say for example, many a times whatever output or let's say produce is given by the farmers, many a times this middlemen or wholesalers or dealers, they kind of loot them or cheat them. So now through this concept of MSP, the farmer is getting a kind of guarantee even before the output has been produced by the government that they will be given a so-called agreed price which is not less than the market price, so that they will get an incentive to produce a good output with this agriculture produce and also to ensure that their income is being doubled. So all these concepts or schemes like MSP is introduced keeping in mind the broader or the bigger objective of Government of India. What is that? Doubling the income of farmers by the year 2022, I can say. So this is indeed a very interesting topic, guys. So let's quickly have a look into more of these in detail. Okay. So now before that, guys, if you see the description box of this particular video, you can find the link of my Unacademy profile. Click that to get all the details of my plus class and free class. So every day 6 to 7 you have a free class called as Top 1000 MCQ series, and this is my plus class schedule. So tomorrow if you see, there is a new weekend batch which is starting only on Saturday, Sunday, guys, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And this particular course is literally covering the entire current affairs of one particular week, I can say. It's a weekly wrap. Indeed, very important. To be a part of that, use the code Nisha IAS Live. Be it free class or plus class, the same code will enable you people to get a discount of 10% and also to watch the classes free and download PDF. So just keep this in mind. Any doubts, queries, whatever you have, you can connect with me via the Telegram. Nisha Najumuddin for UPSC. Clear? The notes will also be given to you. Most importantly, follow me via Unacademy profile as well to get the updates. And just keep the code Nisha IAS Live in mind to get an access to the free class and also to get a discount of 10% for the plus or the paid courses. And also to be a part of the personal mentoring program. So yes, back to the topic of discussion, that is MSP. So now, do you think MSP is a kind of solution for the farmers, or is MSP something that is literally a burden for them? It's a question mark, guys, because many a times, initially when MSP was introduced, it was not, benefiting every farmers because it was not applicable to every single crop. But now slowly the government has been including a lot of crops in the purview of MSP, which means that the farmers, apart from the kharif and rabi crops, what they're producing, the farmers who are involved in other crops like zaid crops, your fruits, vegetables, they are also getting some sort of benefits. So now let's have a quick look into what is the term exactly meaning, guys. It is nothing but the remunerative price I told you. A price, the minimum price for any crop that the government will consider as a remunerative perspective for the farmers, and hence it is deserving of support. And thus, currently if you see, the government will fix minimum support price for around 23 crops. Okay, as per the current data, it was 22, but now it became 23. But then, though for 23 crops, the government is fixing minimum support price also, which is a remunerative price, it is not legally bound to pay these even if open market rates for the said produce are ruling below the annual floor prices. This is one important point which you have to keep in mind with regard to MSP, guys. So when you study the topic in detail, you will get to know the pros and cons as such. Clear? Now, how do the government of India literally fix a price for these crops, guys, under the so-called POG MSP? If you see, this MSP, which is a form of government intervention, guys, in order to ensure the farmers against a steep decline in their prices, they make sure that twice a year, for around 23 commodities, they'll set a fixed price. Okay? Now, the reason why the government does a seal, sometimes the farmers may have a harvest, they may not have a bumper harvest, it depends. So now basically to protect the farmers against a fall in prices in the year of bumper production or a year which do not have much of production, this will enable them to get a steady or a stable flow of income. So now, for example, when the market price is falling below the declared MSP, now what will the government do? They're very smart. To help these farmers, they will start purchasing the entire quantity from the farmers at the price fixed by them, called as minimum support price. That's how the government is helping the farmers. And there are two objectives, guys, when the so-called concept was put up. Okay, one is to support the farmers, that too from distress sale, and second is, see, we know that you and me, though we are having a luxurious life or even we are having a non-luxurious life also, 3 times having food is mandatory for any individual. So now, talking about the majority of population, we have the rural population, or let's say the poor people more. So now they depend on the so-called PDS, that is public distribution system. So food grain is something which is very, very important. So now through this MSP, another objective of the government is to procure or to collect food grain for the PDS perspective, because that is indeed very important, right? And now, which are the crops in which MSP is given? And now we say government. So who are the authorities who can recommend a price, who can fix the price and all? Here we go. If you see, since MSP is dealing with the agriculture perspective, obviously they come under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. But then the authority, or let's say the commission, who can recommend a price for the various crops coming under minimum support price is none other than the CACP. Who are they? Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. Actually, they come under the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. You know what? The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will decide what are the stuffs to be done, and the recommendations for the MSP for the so-called 22, today it is 23 mandatory crops, guys, will be fixed by the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, the CACP. So please keep this in mind. Now, you know, sugarcane, that is also requiring some sort of support from the government. But then, the crop sugarcane, they do not come under the purview of what? MSP. Rather, they come under a separate purview called as FRP. What is that? Fair and Remunerative Prices. This is the only single crop that comes under a different category called as FRP. Basically, to help the farmers who are involved in the sugarcane production, only such kind of FRP is put in. Okay. So do not get confused with MSP and FRP, guys. They're two different things. MSP is for majority of crops. FRP is exclusively for the crop sugarcane. Clear? And talking about the CACP, which gives some sort of recommendation for the MSPs, guys, they came into existence since 1965. So it's an old, commission as such. Now, this particular CACP, they are not a statutory but an advisory body, I can say. Now, though they are an advisory body also, their recommendations are not binding on the government. It is very compulsory that all the crops, the important crops, they will include 14 from the Kharif season and 6 Rabi and 2 other commercial crops. In addition to that, I can tell you recently, if you see the minimum support price, it has been extended by the government to even the coconut, that is the MS for copra. The dried coconut, in Kerala, you call it as copra only. That's the copra means the dried narila coconut. So it has been extended for that also. Okay. Apart from that, rapeseed, mustard, sab kuch it has been extended. So now, who announces, guys? So now I told you that the minimum support price has been fixed by whom? The Commission, the CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. On their recommendations only it has been fixed. But then the official announcement is done by a committee called as Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs, your CCEA. They are the ones who announces the MSP for various crops based on the recommendations given by the Commission for what? Agriculture Cost and Prices. Please keep this in mind. This is indeed very important. Clear? And thus the so-called Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price, you know what they do? They will take into account the demand and supply of these crops. What is the cost of production and the price trend in the external market? So then, keeping all these things in mind, they'll be able to suggest a better price fixation for such kind of crops, which comes under the purview of what? Your minimum support price. See, the whole logic is the farmer should not face any loss with regard to the produce what they're putting out. And it should be more or less in par with the market value. So they are not at all looted, or they are not, they do not have to compromise on any sort of living standards of them due to lack of income and all. So that is the reason why so many factors are taken into consideration by the CACP before fixing what? The price for the MSPs. Now, why do you think that this is important? Do you think MSP is very, very important? Indeed, yes. That's the one single answer I can tell you. Because see, price volatility, that is the price fluctuations in simple terms, that makes life quite difficult for farmers. Today you may get a good price based on the demand and supply. Tomorrow, because of excess of supply, the demand is less and the price will go down, farmers will suffer. And then let's say, for example, there is too much of production, bumper production, well and good. But then too much of supply, as I told you before, demand will become more or less less. And then too much of supply means price has to come down. And when there is no supply at all, Though there is a demand also, farmer is unable to provide it. So now in different situations they are in trouble. So thus, through such kind of remunerative price concept introduced by the government of India called as MSP, it is very important, because the farmers are getting a minimum price for whatever they produce even in the adverse market. So it is said that something is better than nothing. That's a kind of proverb can be applicable to this so-called concept, that is minimum support price. And many times if you see this particular MSP, they have also been used as a tool by whom? By the government, so that they'll be able to incentivize the farmers to grow crops that are in short supply. And one more thing, MSP is not fixed by the government after the harvest. Another important point is before the harvest itself. I tell you, before the harvest of the crop itself, during the sowing time, take care, the government will fix the MSP for the particular crop. So the farmers is getting a kind of assurance and a kind of incentive. Chalo, they'll be paid so and so for this particular crop, at least, not less than that. So they can carry forward the farming in a holistic manner. Clear? Now, as I told you, the factors that has been taken into consideration fixing MSP: demand and supply, cost of production, price in market, terms of trade between agriculture, non-agriculture, etc., etc. You can just go through all this. Now, which are the crops that comes under MSP, guys? Of course, cereals, all the 7 cereals. Your paddy, wheat, barley, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi. In that, barley, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, and all they called as inferior food items, and that is something which is consumed by the large majority of population of our country, the rural India, I mean. The poor people via the PDS, that is public distribution system. Next is pulses. India ranked number 1 for the production and consumption of pulses. Again, majority of poor people, they depend upon that, I can say. So now in the context of MSP, if you see, sometimes for the prelims examination, MSP for pulses, exclusively based on this keyword also questions can be framed. So please make a note of it. Then for oil seeds, all the 8 oil seeds, then raw cotton, raw jute, copra, that is a coconut wala stuff, and also sugarcane. So sugarcane doesn't come under MSP, guys. They come under another concept called as FRP, that is fair and relative prices. Take care. Now, what are the mechanisms of arriving in production cost, guys? That is, see, before fixing the price, the CACP has to go through so many factors, right? Now, this doesn't mean that they will do some sort of field-based cost estimate. Rather, they will analyze what are the demand and supply, what are the projections that you can expect with regard to this particular crop. So, using all these basic things only, they'll be fixing or let's say deciding what the price for the crops under the MSP. Now, this Commission of Agriculture Cost and Prices, okay, they project 3 kinds of production costs for every crop, both at the state level and also all India average level, called as A2, FLC2. So if you see, MSP is highly associated with these 3 factors, I can say, because that is the kind of projection which the CACP is giving before fixing the price of the product. Okay. Now A2 is something which covers all the paid out cost, which is directly incurred by the farmer. Let's say, for example, the farmer sometimes they have to spend on incurring money on getting the raw materials. So the kind of expenses done by the farmers, okay, in cash and kind, on buying the seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and hiring labor, you have to pay them, then spending for irrigation subcoach. All these are coming under the cost called as A2. FL means C. It consists of the input, or let's say imputed value of unpaid family labor. When there are 6 to 7 people in a family, when everybody else in the family starts contributing, they are not paid in the revenue or anything, but rather they are working as a whole for the family. It's an unpaid labor, family labor, right? So FL is talking about family labor. And C2 is a kind of comprehensive cost, I can say, the most comprehensive cost. That results in rentals and interest foregone. That is, farmer have to pay interest on the land that they are utilizing. The farmer has to pay interest on the capital assets that they have got. You understand? So thus, C2 is more important compared to A2 and FL as far as MSP is concerned, because that is a comprehensive cost which the farmer has to incur. So for your exam also, for question based on MSP is coming, and if it talks about your A2 FL, keep one thing in mind: out of A2 plus FL, your C2 is very, very important, because they are the most comprehensive cost under the MSP context. Now, do you think MSP is needed? Yes, indeed, very important, because only then you can safeguard the farmers from the market price fluctuations, right? Because the price of farm commodities, we all know that they depend upon the monsoon. It may give a good income, it may not give a good income, it depends. So such kind of situations, you need the support of government to help the farmers as well. Clear? and also for maintaining a healthy supply, such kind of MSPs will encourage the farmers because it has been fixed before the harvest itself. So it's a kind of motivation to them to carry on the cultivation in a proper way. So now let's quickly have a look into the current affairs perspective of this particular topic, guys. That is about MSP. So there are multiple current affairs associated with that. But pertaining to the 21 prelims examination, we are supposed to look only onto the trending current affairs, guys. Okay. So here we go. Some of the important facts that we should know about the recent MSP development with regard to current affairs is, one is, although the government has announced MSP for 23 crops, only 2 to 3 crops are effectively procured or collected. That is a reality. And if you see the production of rice and wheat, that increased over the years, we know that. And if you see rice and wheat and all, you had even a green revolution for that, right? But then though this has increased also, it is not in a natural way. It is at the expense of other crops like pulses, which is indeed very important because pulses contribute to a greater extent for our country, I can say. Because we are the largest producers and at the same time the largest consumer also. And next thing is buffer stock, when you pile up all the products or output what you produce. Okay, so now there has been a significant increase in the buffer stocks, and which adds up to huge storage and transportation cost again. Your warehousing, transportation cost, of course, is increased, guys, because of MSP. See, one way it is good, another way the government has to incur all this expenditure as such. And thus, if you see, another important point to be noted is that doing away with MSP, without taking the farmers into confidence, is not the right step. That is indeed a logical thing, don't you think so? And apart from that, if you see, for an agriculture to perform well, factors like irrigation, supporting factors like improving irrigation, implementing land reforms and access to technology, all these things are necessary. So then you'll be able to make farming more remunerative to farmers. So in that case, even when the MSP has been fixed by the government also, it makes a lot of sense, I can say. At the same time, MS Swaminathan, who is called as the father of Indian Green Revolution, implementing various suggestions given by the Commission of Swaminathan, even that would be a right step, I can say, instead of considering the so-called MSP as the panacea. Now, recently, if you see the so-called topic, that is farmers bill, that was there in the news in the context of MSP, right? The farmers protest, the farmers bill and sab kuch like that. A lot of students were also asking me, ma'am, could you please explain the 3 farmers bill in detail? So here we go. So the first one is, if you see the central government, recently they passed 2 farm bills called as the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill of 2020. It deals with the promotion and facilitation. Okay. Next is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill of 2020. So apart from all this, there was also other bill, but the most common farm bills are what I've told you. Apart from that, the other bill was the Essential Commodities Act of 2020. That is also a bone of contention between the farmers and center, I can tell you. But this with regard to farm bills, the first and second was in importance. Clear? Now let's quickly have a look into what are the features of Farm Bill. See, the first bill, that is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill. Now why this was put forward in the year 2020 is because to give the farmers more choices regarding their produce. Should they produce more of wheat or rice or mustard or pulse or whatever it is, as per their choice. And through this so-called Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill, it is kind of giving a discretion to farmers and allowing them to sell their farm produce outside what the government regulated mandis, or let's say the APMC. What are they? Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee. Basically to help the farmers to market their products better only, APMC was put forward. But through this particular perspective, they are having a wider market. You understand? And this so-called APMC as an institution, I can tell you over the years, it became obsolete, or let's say bekar, and is fixing low prices for the produce. So now, do you think this is helping the farmers? Definitely no. When they're fixing low prices for the produce, the farmer is at a stake. That is why it is said that it has become obsolete. Take care. And now this is leading the farmers to resort to distress sales, even in the event of bumper production. So thus this so-called scheme, that is APMC, it allows the farmers to, so the so-called scheme, that is a new farm bill, I can tell you, it allows the farmer to choose the best price for their products and then sell them accordingly. Because they come under the purview of they come outside the purview of the government regulated mandis. Now that is why. Now second bill was talking about the agreement, the farmers agreement and price assurance, right? And the farm service bill, and it has certain provisions with regard to the so-called new concept of farming, that is called as contract farming. Now through the second farm bill, the whole point is it is an advantage to the farmers because it is kind of giving an opportunity for the farmers through which they are able to strike a deal with the corporates even before the production. See, contract farming is something, let's say for example, if I'm a farmer and you're a corporate. So even before me sowing the seeds or whatever, I will have a contract between the corporate and myself, So then being a farmer, I'm getting a huge support from the corporate. With regard to seeds, fertilizers, sab kuch cost will be borne by this corporate. The only thing is that I, being a farmer, for example, I have to just do the cultivation and give the harvest. That's it. So it's kind of, the corporate taking over the farming, I can say. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, it is kind of benefiting the farmers. Don't you think so? Because this shifts the risk from farmers onto businessmen. And also the farmers, at the end of the day, X or Y, whoever is in the contract, they will be assured of a fixed price. They will definitely get a good remuneration, guys, in the context of contract farming. That is why this contract farming is on the rise these days. Clear? Now, do you think these farm bills are highly beneficial? Yes, indeed. Because see, when there is a higher price for farmers for the produce, obviously it is going to benefit them to a greater effect, right? Because in the context of APMC, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee or Mandis, they have so many restrictions. So all these have been cleared off. Next is they provide for a 3-level dispute settlement mechanism. Conciliation board, subdivisional magistrate and appellate authority. So things are in a structurized manner. And second thing is the guaranteed price for the product produced by the farmer has been given as per the agreement mentioned in the contract farming between the farmer and the businessman. So nothing to worry for the farmers with regard to the income that they get. And now the so-called digitalization, or let's say online platform, that has been popped up. The marketing of the produce by the farmer becomes more simplified because electronic trading is permitted and direct selling of products through the electronic or online trading is also permitted, wherein the farmer is also getting digitally aware and having a better market because it's not just the physical market, it is online thing. So across the state they can have their trade, and also outside the country as well. Clear? It is opening up a better domestic as well as international markets for them. And the next important benefit is that the strict rules and fines for violation of agreements are also mentioned in bill. So which means that the farmers are protected. We may think that the corporates can actually cheat the farmers. Though that is there also, they have been protected. Okay, that is there. Now, though that is the case also, as we all know, everything has a good and a bad side, right? A lighter or a darker side. So let's quickly have a look into the disadvantage, or let's say the drawback of farm bill. Though we know the advantage also, see, sometimes no clarity, or let's say mentioned regarding the MSP in the proposed law is seen, and there is no judicial involvement in the dispute settlement mechanism. And the next thing is under contract farming, sometimes these farmers, though they want to do a cultivation of rice also, these farmers, these contractors or businessmen will say, no, you do for cotton. That too, you can go for a genetically modified variety. So now the so-called choice of farmers is reduced. Though they want to do it also, it's been reduced. So there is a fear of becoming slaves to corporate buyers on one's own land. Such kind of things are also there. Take care. And also, for example, if there is a dispute with the large corporate houses and all, in such kind of situations, the farmer's concern is that their interest would also be ignored. That is also, another important drawback of the so-called farm bill. But that doesn't mean that farm bills are totally a disadvantage. There are so-called advantages as such. So that's all, guys, you have to know with regard to your MSP. That is minimum support price in detail. So let's quickly have a look into the previous year questions or the mock questions based on this particular topic. Take care. So here we have already, chalo, the question of the day. Consider the following. So in the UPSC Prelims 2018, this question was there. Option number 1 tells aircut nut, barley, coffee, finger millet, groundnut, sesame and turmeric. Now out of all these crops, the CCEA, they announce MSP price for which of the above. So this is a question from 2018, guys. So quickly give the right answer. Do you think all the above, or except 2 everything is there, or except 3 everything is there? Think, use your brains. Definitely turmeric not turmeric. I mean your groundnut cannot be eliminated, right? May or may not think. And the answer is option B, guys, which means that only 2, 4, 5, 6 is correct. Now this is very simple. Now the 6 p.m. class, when I teach you MCQ, remember I have taught you the method of keyword elimination comparison. The same can be applied here. The keyword is correct. The next keyword is regarding the crops and which has been fixed. Which has been fixed. That is, the MSP has been fixed which of these crops. Now out of these options, your areca nut. You are literally confused on that. Nowhere you have heard about that, don't you think so? Yes. It is not that common in the context of MSP, I can say. So now you are having a doubt on this. So slowly applying the elimination technique, what you do is eliminate that. So automatically coming to the given options, option number A, C, D is fatafat eliminated. Very simple. Because you got to know that the first one is not correct. You understand? So now what happened? Every option is having 1 except 2. So automatically you got to know that not only 1, even your third one, that is coffee, even your 6th, even your 7th one, turmeric, that is also incorrect. Because option number B consists of only 2, 4, 5, 6. That is only remaining option. This is how you'll get the right answer using the technique of KEC. To know more about KEC, guys, come for the 6 p.m. class. You can just click on the description box for the profile link and use the code Nisha IAS Live to watch the classes free. Take care. Now, the next one, consider the following statements. First one tells commercial crops are not covered under MSP. Second, if MSP is made legally binding, no crop can be purchased below the MSP by the private buyers. 3. The marketed surplus for all the crops covered under MSP is more than 50%. So now in this particular question, you have two extreme words. So the first one is having an extreme word called as not, and third one has a word called as all. The rule is that 95% chance is there for such kind of statements to be what? Incorrect. But then doesn't mean that, guys, just because you have a extreme word, this has to be wrong also. They could be correct also, applying the logical common sense. So here we go. Which one do you think is the answer? Do you think all the above? Definitely it cannot be, because the option doesn't tell you 1, 2, 3. So which means that 101% you have to eliminate one. And the answer is option number C, which means that only the second one is correct. It's true, because both 1 and 3, as I told you, they have an extreme word. You got the point. So now, extreme words, the rule is you have to eliminate. How can we say commercial crops are not covered under MSP? Absolute galat. And now it is said that the market surplus for all the crops covered under MSP is more than 50. Absolute nonsense. Not all the crops. Again, that is an extreme word. So once you eliminate 1 and 3, what remains is option number C, and then you got to know that only the second one is correct. Clear? See, there are two ways in which MSPs can be done, guys. The first is to force the private buyers to pay for it. In this case, no crop, you can purchase them below the MSP, which would also act as the floor price, I can say, for bidding the monthly auctions. Okay. And second way is in which, of course, the government itself will start buying the entire crop from the farmers at the MSP, basically to help them. Now, if you see the crops like cotton, copra, raw jute, what are they? The commercial crops. So even they are coming under the purview of MSP as per the recent current affairs. So how can we say commercial crops are not covered? It's an absolute blunder. You got the point. And thus, if you see the marketed surplus, will be different for different crops. For every crops, it cannot be more than 50. For some, it will be 50. For some, it will be less than 50. For some, it will be even 90%. You understand? So it keeps on changing based on the crop's nature, variety, demand, supply, and all. The next one, consider the following statements regarding MSP. First one, in recent years in southern states, more than 70% of rice produced has been procured at MSP. Next, MSP was not a part of any law before, nor it is a part of any law today. Really? Next, MSP is announced since the time of Green Revolution. So this is a very, very simple yet a logical question. Quickly give the right answer. Even the options tell you that all the above cannot be correct because there is no 1, 2, 3. So very simple. Which one to eliminate? 2 or 3? Think. And here we go, guys. The answer is option number C, which means that only the second and third one is correct. We know that yes, since Green Revolution we have MSP, and it was not a part of any law, nor a part of any law today. That's very true. See, MSP we studied it as what? An advisory body, right? We didn't study them as a law or anything as such, right? Simple logic. And regarding the first one, how can we say southern state has more than 70% of rice produced coming under MSP? Do that statements make a sense? Definitely no. And thus, if you see, the first one was wrong. Clear? And now here you have a mains question. Again, in the year 2018, MSP was a hit list topic. You can see a question for the prelims and the mains from the same perspective. Here we go. What do you mean by MSP? And second part of the question is, how will MSP rescue farmers from the low income trap? It is indeed a very important topic as well. So write the answers and submit it via my Telegram or WhatsApp, Nisha Najmuddin for UPSC. I'll value it. And also you will be able to understand when you practice more and more answer writing, how to write the answers, what are the points to be included and all. So this is a homework for the day. So please keep this in mind. Clear? So once again, thank you so much, my young officers. We are done for the day, and I hope that everything and anything based on MSP is crystal clear to you people. So once again, a quick look into the schedule of my plus and free class. You can just go through any doubt, queries, whatever you have. Feel free to get in touch with me via Telegram. And one more thing, every day 7 to 7:30 we have this fundamentals, and now in the same YouTube channel 8 p.m. to 8:10 p.m. just for 10 minutes you have an economy booster series happening. So don't miss that. All the trending economy topics will be covered. And regarding subscription, guys, to be a part of these NCRT batches, the current affairs batch, the other 1 year batches and all, go for subscription. Take care. And the code is Nisha IAS Live. And there is a Maha subscription offer. That is, if you subscribe for more than 1 year or 1 year, till the next mains, you will get the subscription extended. And today, if you see, there is another offer that if you are subscribing, even the other related exams like bank exam, SSC and all, you can avail the classes for free. In the so-called UPSC subscription itself, it is coming in. So there are so many offers by Unacademy. Why to waste it? Make sure that you use the code Nisha IAS Live and make sure that you're getting a discount of 10% and also coming under the personal mentoring program and achieving a dream of becoming a civil service officer. Any doubts, queries, whatever you have, here you have an academy profile, here you have Telegram. Feel free to get in touch with me. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe this channel, and also put your valuable feedbacks in the comment box. Very, very important. Clear? So see you all tomorrow with another set of interesting topics on this fundamentals of economy in 30 minutes. Till then, thank you, take care, and Jai Hind.